Hey there, gang. Patrick King here, coming to you live tonight from Warren, Pennsylvania. I'm teaching this weekend in Warren at Serenity Equine Center. Today's question comes to us from Dawn, and Dawn asks, I have a 12-year-old quarter horse gelding that I started back as a 2-year-old. At the time, I didn't have the mentors and knowledge that I do now, so there's some holes that we've been working on, hard to fix these last couple years. The big one now is a lack of confidence in both of us at times. He gets skittish and jumpy once he's out of his comfort zone, which has become the arena for the most part. I admit that I've turned him into an arena horse. As well, we compete and enjoy team sorting. However, he doesn't handle horses and cattle coming at him fast when we're guarding the gate. He's got no buck or rear, but he'll bolt or jump sideways to get out of the way. The problem being that we need to stand our ground at the gate to turn back the extra cattle. Do you have any advice on building his confidence and mine, as it seems to turn into a feedback loop? So this is a great question, and it's something that we see a lot of horses encountering with the confidence with both cattle and with other horses, particularly if we don't have the opportunity to spend a lot of time working cattle or a lot of time working in that situation where we see horses running at us basically, or cattle running at us. So what we want to work on, what I recommend to Dawn, is something that I recommend to riders in my clinics all the time. If you can get together with a couple friends or a larger group of friends, or even play around there at the penning and sorting competitions that you go to, have other people ride up to your horse and pet him. Get to where they're starting out at a walk, that just walk up next to your horse and they'll pet him while they're riding. You're going to want to make sure that they have control of their horse and that you've got control of your horse, thinking forward and moving alongside them. And starting out, they're going to walk up next to your horse and they'll pet him. You might get to where you're trotting side by side and they can reach down and pet your horse. And this is something you're going to build to progressively. Get to where you might be loping next to someone where they can reach out and pet your horse. Of course, you'll want to be careful. You'll want to make sure that you and your friends have control of your horse at the lope before you go to riding side by side and petting each other's horses. Another thing that I find to be really helpful is if you can have those horses, you might be walking and they might walk up to you. So you're walking forward, they come at you from the side, kind of T-bone angle idea at a right angle, and they're going to ride right up there next to you, kind of facing you, and you're going to reach out and pet their horse. That's something that your horse will start to kind of understand a little bit of a job that way. You can get to where you're ponying other horses off of yours. Good idea also to pony your horse from someone else's. If you have someone that's handy enough to do that with you or for you, that's going to be a great idea. And that the T-bone idea, you'd get to where you'd build up so that other folks might be trotting in toward you and stopping, and you can pet their horse and pet your horse at the same time, helping him to understand that when that action happens, confidence and rest and rubbing and affection and relaxation comes on the other side of that. So again, this is going to be a progressive thing. This isn't going to be a 5-minute fix, okay? This is something that you're going to be working on progressively. But the idea for you, the confidence that's going to come from you, is having the plan of knowing what the task is that you're wanting to do. I'd also want to get with your horse to where you could trot your horse right up to someone else's horse and pet their horse, trot your horse right up. This is a little exercise that we do in clinics all the time. You'll trot your horse right up next to somebody and let your horse rest their head up against that other rider, kind of sitting on their lap, and the other rider will pet your horse. We want your horse being very confident, very comfortable, knowing that relaxation comes from those other horses, even in situations where there's higher action and activity. That in itself is going to help your horse, again, a ton with understanding that they can be confident with the other riders coming toward them, with other horses coming toward them. And at the same time, it's going to help build your horse's confidence having a little job to do. So that in itself is going to build over to some increased confidence when you're working with the cattle. The other thing, as far as building your horse's confidence with the cattle, that's something you're just going to have to build a lot of experience. Spend a couple days, if you can, find somebody that can help you with those sorts of things, where you just follow and mill around amongst the cattle a lot more. In the pennings and the sortings and things like that, the activity can become really high. Honestly, you put riders to a job like that, job with cattle, and that's one of the fastest way to see some of the worst horsemanship you've ever seen, because people get in a rush, people get single-minded, they get to focusing on the damn clock, they get to focusing on the damn cattle, they forget that they're on a horse, and they just go full on out without regard for a whole lot of what's going on. And that's a lot of the reason why we see so much of this kind of chaos stuff going on with horses losing confidence. So I'm really glad that you've asked this question. Make sure that the riders you're in there with are there to support you. The idea of this is that it's a team effort. It's a team sport. You want to enjoy it. You want to compete with it. This might be the year that you focus on building your horse's confidence in that situation more than the competition, because I tell you what, if you build your confidence and your horse's confidence, you're going to enjoy it a lot more for a lot more years to come. If you go in there crazy and you're with a bunch of riders that are going crazy full on, full out without regard for anything but the clock and the single-minded job they have to do, there's a good chance you might just get hurt. If your horse is running backwards and he's running sideways, you know this. He's telling you he's not confident. That's why you asked the question. That only escalates if we aren't actively working to build the horse's confidence. There is no neutrality in any situation as it relates to the horse. We're either helping him in this case with his confidence, or we're decreasing his confidence. So you really want to spend the time to work on that. I don't like to do little selfish plugs in these videos, but I will be teaching a clinic on ranch work and cow working with my good friend Colton Woods in Paris, Kentucky. I believe it's 4th of July weekend. So Dawn, if that's anywhere near you, it'd be fantastic to have you come out and join us. These are a little bit of exercises that we will be focusing on, specifically if you're going to be there with your horse to ask these questions like this. We tailor all of our clinics. I know Colton does as well as myself, and this one together is going to be fantastic. But we each tailor all of our clinics to the riders that show up, the questions that they have, the help that they need. So I hope that this has been helpful to you, Dawn, and to everyone else out there who might be watching. If you think this is some advice that would help a friend of yours, please tag them in the comments below. Let them know that this might be helpful and that they'd be interested in watching. All right. Question of the day for today. There's a comment that came up at my clinic today, and I loved it. We had a little bit of fun out of this comment that came up. Connie, riding with us today out at Serenity Equine Center, she made the comment that she loves my videos because she doesn't have to watch them. Basically because I'm sitting in a hotel room for most of these videos and it's rather boring. What she meant by that, and of course we all laughed that she likes them because she doesn't have to watch them, but what she meant by that is she's able to get some other stuff done. She says, I'm frequently cooking dinner with her. She plays the videos while she's making dinner. So I'm curious, when do you guys tune in? Do you tune in during the live broadcast? Do you listen to it kind of as a podcast in your car? Do you listen to it when you're riding your horse? When do you tune in? When do you watch these videos? I'm really curious to hear about that. Please chime in. Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget, gang, you guys keep submitting questions. I'll keep giving answers. Thanks so much.